Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is going to be talking with a gentleman from the Ohio State University Engineering Department, the Assistive Technology Program, Bill Darling. So stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher is going to go to the Ohio State University, the Engineering Department, the Assistive Technology Department, and talk with Bill Darling. Chris, always a pleasure and a really good program that you have set up.
Thank you, Patrick, for another opportunity to be here. And it's so amazing to see technology has opened up so many doors for individuals with multiple disabilities, older folks. And so today I am here to talk with Bill Darling about assistive technology that he's worked with and how he's helping the community all over Ohio. I'm going to turn it over to Bill. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you do. Why did you choose assistive technology? What is assistive technology?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, talk about, what is our passion here. The name of our little program is called Assistive Technology of Ohio. And we're actually part of a national program. There's one of us in every state and every U.S. territory. And what we have is a series of programs that are all focused on ways that technology can improve the lives of people with disabilities. One misconception about our work, it's all focused on technology, but it really is a disability job. The technology, we don't make this stuff. We don't sell it. Some of it, I couldn't even adequately explain to you exactly how it works, but I do know what it does and I know how it helps. And to be a successful person in the AT field, you really just got to be comfortable and love working with people with disabilities. You have to be able to speak the language, walk in that world. So the technology stuff is the stuff that you can learn, but if you have to be a disability person at heart to do that. And so we have a series of programs here at Ohio State, and all of them are focused on technology for people with disabilities. I'll just tell you about the main ones that people use. The main ones that people use on street level is that we have a library. We have a comprehensive statewide library of technology devices. We're on the west campus of Ohio State in a building called 1314 Kinnear. It's on Kinnear Road. And we have probably between 400 and 500 devices that are available to be checked out. You can check them out for free, and we'll send it to you, and it's yours to try for 30 days. We pay for the shipping, both directions. But all the purpose behind a program like this is that it gets technology into your hands, and it's the best way to learn about the ways that technology can help improve the lives of people with disabilities. It's a fascinating field to work in because you never know what the next call is going to be. You never know what the next challenge is. The thing is, one of the unique things about our program is that we're a true generalist program, meaning any type of disability. It doesn't matter what type of disability you have. It doesn't matter what area of life you're trying to get some help in, whether it's trying to go to school or trying to get or maintain a job or just trying to live a more independent and interconnected life. We have technology in every area. We don't have every conceivable piece of technology that there is, but we will have something in the area that you're interested in. It's always a great place to start. It's always a great place to come and learn about these types of technologies. It is one of the things why these programs are very important. Assistive technology centers, assistive technology act programs like we have here at OSU, is that there are very few places in the world that you can go and just enter the world of technology for people with disabilities. There aren't any stores at the mall. If you go up to Polaris or Easton and the malls here in Central Ohio, there's no disability technology store. There are conferences that show up They're like Brigadoon, and they're there for 3 days and then they're gone. There's one in Orlando. There's one in Southern California that are wonderful, wonderful experiences to go to those. But as far as there being any permanent place to go, an Assistive Technology Act program is the best place to go to just walk into the world and see what's possible. See what types of technology. What is that? How does that work? Here's my issue. Here's what I want to try to do better. So it's a wonderful way to experience this stuff. And it's one of the very few places that you can go in the world and really get access and exposure to all the different types of technologies that can improve the lives of people with disabilities.
So if individuals would like to get involved with your program, no matter what state they might be in, how would they do that? What would they be looking forward to?
Well, our specific program, every state program services their state. We are part of a national network. We would, if you're from a different state, we would get you to the organization in your state that they're all essentially the same. They have the same types of programs, but our national organization is called ATAP, the Assistive Technology Act Programs Organization. Each individual state is set up to provide services to the people within their state. And the way that you gain access, if you're an Ohioan, there's basically 3 types of people that can use us. And that's Ohioans with disabilities, people that care about Ohioans with disabilities, and professionals that work in the field. So if you're just in any way impacting the lives of a person in a disability, if they're from Ohio, this is a program for you. Almost all of our services are cost-free. We pay for the shipping, like I said, but there's a couple of programs that have minor charges to try to offset the cost of the program. But for the most part, all of our services are provided free of charge. They're educationally based and a great way to learn about the different types of technologies that are out there.
You brought a video that sort of encapsulates some of the things that you do. Would you care to share that with us?
That'd be wonderful. This is a video from a few years ago. It's one of our programs that we have that actually works with the schools and school-aged children. New ideas start local. You have something happen in my community, a young man that was having tremendous health challenges, unable to go to school, was forced to stay home, couldn't have friends come over, just tremendous health challenges. It was a very scary situation for that young man, Jacob, and his family. And we had these robots, they're called telepresence robots. And what we were able to do with these robots is place them in Jacob's classroom. At the time, he was in 4th grade. And you place those robots in the classroom, and Jacob could then beam in every day from his home or wherever he was in the world. It shows that how going to school was possible if you're not physically able to go to school, but also how important it is to stay connected for a young person who's going through such a tremendous physical challenges, medical challenges that Jacob was. So that's really what the video is, and I hope you enjoy it.
What's up, Jacob?
It's been an awesome journey so far.
Jacob is an amazing student.
Been there since kindergarten.
His curiosity and his thirst for learning. He's just full of spirit.
I do not want to leave the school whatsoever.
Everything happened very fast. He was in and out of the doctor's office for ear infections and just common cold type stuff. And we went to a grocery store and he collapsed. Pulmonary team just kind of decided that, homeschool was the best way to go.
We all care for him, and it was sad, the friends missing him.
And I didn't want him to miss school because he's sick.
All of the students really care about Jacob and they want the best for him and they worry about him.
So she would come home and talk about how there was a kid here who everyone missed.
But this one student just kept talking about it at home, and that made it happen.
I was just talking about it. I didn't know he could do anything about it.
And so I'm going to tear up because it's just so special.
At our agency down at Ohio State, in the fall, we obtained a couple of these devices, and I never really put it all together. But the more she told me about the case that was going on here at the school, I said, I think I might have something.
Essentially, this is FaceTime. But he's at school.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is he can actually move around. He doesn't have to stand in one place.
Jacob, thumbs up here. Good.
That's the same kind of technology as a Segway, except you don't ride it. The only passenger is the iPad. You can control that robot from anywhere in the world.
Kind of weird at first, but then I progressed on and knew how to control it?
Oh, it was so exciting the first day. He rolled up and I got to go say hi and hug him around the little robot, and it was so much fun.
With home tutoring, we'd have the tutor come out several days a week for a couple hours. And he liked it, don't get me wrong. It was someone new in the house because he wasn't allowed to have anybody in. But it still wasn't being around his friends. It still wasn't, being able to talk with his teachers. And it just was something was missing.
I think having control on when to get in there, when to go, and, when to talk and use the same things he'd be using in school, raise his hand, things like that, is something he really enjoys having. So, and he's mentioned it before.
Well, going to school for kids is so much more than just the books and learning and the information that you take in. It's so much of it is the social interaction. You go there to see your friends. It's something that these kids go through together, and Jacob was removed from that. The great part about the double robot is that it allows you that interactive ability, that you can listen in, that you can see what's going on, and that you can turn and move around and actually be engaged in the classroom just like everyone else.
It's nice to see them in the morning time, because normally I just sleep until 11. The fact that I'm waking up first thing in the morning, I still haven't gotten used to it yet, but I'm getting there.
It's amazing of how they come up with these robots. And I know that other Ohio Tech ambassadors have talked about using a robot in their home, being able to help them do things around their house and be connected with the community outside in, the world. They can make phone calls with the robot. They can ask it to do anything, cooking and things like that. It's just amazing how creative that, we're getting today with our robots to be able to help individuals with disabilities. And I encourage, if you haven't seen one of these, go see them, because it's really a great thing to see, because you're not only helping individuals with multiple disabilities, you're helping our elderly people too, that just don't have that outside communication. So the robot helps them to be able to do that.
And Chris, we are taking really some big first steps in that area here. In the last week, I put in orders for 2 different types of robots that would be put in the home. They're interactive robots. They're trained to, ask important questions, to try to sense if things are all right with you, and just also to have some back and forth interplay. And it has all the features of, the Amazon Alexa, but it's really a lifelike robot. We're taking big steps in that area. It's not an area that we've gone into before, but we're very excited about getting those in. And that's something that you could see here if you came to the West Campus, to just walk in and see the different types of stuff that are going into people's homes and that are helping people live better lives, but also helping others that care about them understand what's going on inside the house and make sure that person is doing well.
What other bits of technology out there that you guys are working on to be able to help individuals with multiple disabilities?
Well, the 3 biggest areas that we see use of our programs, one of them is in communication. For people that have communication challenges, they may have cerebral palsy, or they just may have other multiple disabilities that make communication a challenge. We have an entire wall full of devices that are set up to be able to help people with disabilities be able to verbally communicate their thoughts, be able to communicate them in real time. They are the most amazing devices that we work with. There's an amazing company here in Ohio called Prinky Romic. It's based out of Worcester. They're one of the companies. Tobii Dynavox is another. They make these devices that give people with disabilities the opportunity to just be able to verbally communicate. And I can't think of a better way to spend your life than to create technologies that gives the gift of language to people that don't have that gift. Another area that we do a lot of work in is computers, and not the actual computer itself. We're not designing interactive computers ourselves, but what we have is the different types of equipment that'll help people with disabilities be able to use a computer. People with disabilities are the least likely among us to own a computer and to know how to use it. And in this day and in this age, I go around the state and I talk to college students, and I'll present a scenario to them. I'll say, hey, let's pretend you're a freshman and you're here at Kent State University, and we're going to pay for your entire college. It's all paid for. But here's the catch. You don't have a computer. You've never had one. You don't know how to use one. They start to get nervous at the very thought of it. When they think about their week, when they think about how it is that they go to school, how it is that they take tests, how do they do their research, how do they communicate with their teachers? They got to know how to use a computer. So we have technology that, for people with physical challenges, they may need a different kind of keyboard. They may need the ability to speak to the computer. They need to have the computer that's tracking their eyes, whatever it is, through the use of switches or whatever it is. If you can get them using a computer, it's just an essential life device. You can't, it's very, very challenging to go out there and look for a job, to stay connected to your friends, to be able to go to school. You need to be able to use a computer. And one of the amazing things about computers for people with disabilities is that, like I said, something as basic as Facebook, which is for old people like me, but email, anything like that. If you're a person at home, if you're a person with a disability and you can interact with the computer, you're doing it the same way everyone else is. If you're using Facebook the way everyone else is, you really don't have a disability. Sometimes that's the magic of technology. In a specific area of life, for a little bit of time, you can actually make a disability disappear, at least functionally. You're not really making it disappear in the greater scheme of things. But if the technology that you have allows them to use a computer, all they're doing is using a computer the way other people do it. And so they're able to function, they're able to produce, they're able to live that fulfilling life and stay connected to people the way everyone else does. So computers are another area. And I would say a third area that we do a lot of work in is for people with visual impairments, visual challenges. We have just lots and lots of different types of devices that will read books to you, that will enlarge things so that you can use whatever vision you do have to be able to, keep going and be as independent as possible. So visual aid equipment, communication equipment, and the types of equipment that will help people with disabilities use the computer, I would say those are our three biggest areas.
Bill, I truly believe that most individuals that are not involved with the university process don't really understand how much educational research goes into helping individuals such as the assistive technology. Many times we hear grants and we sort of assume that's all that the universities do, and that is not the case. I truly believe that your engineering department work closely with other businesses in helping to create those kind of programs and technologies that really assist a lot of people.
Well, that's so true. We are a unique program in the College of Engineering that we're focused on, what you would consider people with disabilities. But my boss is Bill Maris, he's one of the world leaders on the human back and trying to make sure that the world of work is set up so that we're not creating people with disabilities. Engineering is everything. And, sometimes in our line of work, a new app comes out and everybody's excited about it. But the real question is, did they really consider people with disabilities when they created it? Did they involve them? Did they do the research on it? Because, some of these communication devices that we have, they've researched this for 60 years. They've included people with disabilities at every step of the way. And some other people might just create a communication app that doesn't really research how human language works, how the human brain works, and did you involve people with disabilities? So I agree with you 100% that engineering and research is an absolutely essential part of it. And that is one of the reasons we're so grateful to be at Ohio State. They do incredible research, and there's a lot of resources available to us in the university community to help us be better at doing the work that we do.
I know a lot of businesses are starting the game room where you could come and play video games and be able to play other, Minecraft and things like that, where the public could come on in and, paid $5 just to play all day. And I like getting out there when I hear these new places popping up, pushing, are you accessible? Or is the access easy? And, it's like, I want them to start thinking about it. I want them to know that somebody is coming behind them and going to hold them accountable for not being accessible, because I want them to be accessible.
You're absolutely right. I would say, Chris, that in the early days of Microsoft Windows and things like that, it wasn't a good world for people with disabilities. But they have made tremendous strides. So many of the things that used to be a set aside disability modification now are just part and parcel of the entire Windows operating system. One of the main things about just a world of gaming, that's a great example. It's an untapped resource. People with disabilities love that as much as anybody else does. There is equipment out there that will help them be able to be gamers. I will tell you, it's a little challenging for us to buy that stuff. We have to explain to Ohio State why we're buying all this gaming equipment. That's not really what we do. But there's an entire world out there of gaming and in other areas that people need to consider people with disabilities, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it makes good business sense.
You were talking earlier about Facebook. Individuals like to get on Facebook and stay connected with the world and their friends. On my computers and my other technology, I have screen readers and different things that will help me do that. When I say I'm legally deaf and legally blind on TikTok or Facebook, it's like, how are you doing it? You can't be deaf and blind if you're on here and you're able to read. And it's like, all right, I forgot about my disability,
right? Because
I have that extra help behind me to help me. And I like the questions because it gives me the opportunity to educate them and let them know.
That's what it's all about, Chris. And for you, it just becomes how you live. It's how you use a computer. None of us really knows how to use a computer. I have no idea how to use a computer. I use the keyboard. I use it the way that most people do, but I couldn't have created that in a million years. And if you look at just basic things in life, like I don't know how to start a car. I don't know how to turn the lights on. What I know is how to flip a switch. That they give you access to these things using technology, and it allows you to do things you can't do. You can read, but even if you have tremendous difficulty seeing, right? Because of the technology that's out there, it gives you those powers. It's a workaround, but eventually just becomes how you do things, and you don't think anything about it. You're just going on with your life and using the computer the way that you do.
Bill, do you have a success story that is really unique? I know a lot of stories are a success, but one that stands out.
I remember a lady that had a visual impairment, and she was trying to keep her job. She was a grandma. She lived on the southeast side here in Columbus. She had 2 grandchildren, and we went down with what's called a CCTV device, so that she could read the documents she needed to do, be able to read, and then put the information in the computer. We tried the various settings. When we first turned it on, it didn't work, but we tried all the different various settings. We found one, and it was just this magical moment that I can see that. I can see what I need to see. I can get the information I need. But that device cost about $2,500. But was it worth it? It absolutely is worth it. I mean, this is a lady who's going to stay on the job. She's going to be working 40 hours a week. She's going to be paying taxes instead of being home. And she's going to be productive, and she's going to be taking care of the things she needs to take care of in her life. So is that a worthy investment? It absolutely is. And that's why we're out there every day preaching the gospel of this stuff, because it can change their life. It can keep them on the job. It can improve their lives. And the more we can do to educate people about that, the bigger impact it'll have. I would say that, assistive technology in Ohio is not an easy thing to remember, but just remember that there's a program in every state. There's a program at Ohio State that deals with technology for people with disabilities. And just know that, technology generally doesn't solve every problem, but it can go at specific things, right? If you have a specific challenge, there's probably somebody that's already built a piece of technology that's going to go right after that, right? And so there's a hurdle. It can help you get over it or around it. And so you need to come in with specific instances. You need to come in with with a caseload in your head, or maybe even standing right next to you. Bring the person in and with the challenge that they have, and let's craft a solution for them. It may be one piece of equipment, it may be two, and we grow our library on real world examples. So we want to talk to people that have those real world challenges, because we want to make sure that when we bring something into our library, that it's something that people want and need and makes a difference. So we would just encourage you to learn about us. Our website is atohio.org. Go there and find out, call us, or make an appointment to come by, because we would love to keep educating people on the ways that this stuff works and how it helps.
I want to thank Bill for coming and allowing me to be here to talk to him about assistive technology, because it's a game changer, just like he said earlier. And a lot of people are being able to live in their home independently and not have to worry about how they're going to turn on their TV or how they're going to do, different things in their home. So it's really great. And thank you for telling us about that library. And, I really want to check that out myself. And just thank you for being there and helping us.
Well, thank you. It's been a real pleasure for us to be able to be with you guys today. And we appreciate every opportunity we get to go out and talk about this wonderful equipment.